Welcome to Rob Schmitt tonight. Israeli professor Gal Luft might be the biggest problem our partisan Department of Justice has right now. What do you do with a witness who's oozing with credibility when he informs the world that Joe Biden took millions from the Chinese to help push their agenda in the United States? Gal Luft has been a D.C. staple for years, running a think tank with a former CIA director. He's had a New York Times byline and has proved he worked with the same Chinese company that paid the Bidens millions of dollars. It is a huge catch-22. If you do nothing as the DOJ, the fact that we've already proven the Bidens got paid by China naturally leads everyone to believe Gal Luft because it's so blatantly obvious that the Bidens are corrupt. That opens up massive issues for the DOJ and their cover-up. Can't have that. The other option is to discredit Gal Luft with criminal charges, which is just as lousy in a way as the DOJ exposes that they have no standard for equal justice and are indeed protecting the Biden regime, as Kevin McCarthy pointed out today.
The Justice Department went after him. Well, Hunter Biden received more money from the same foreign CEFC company that this informant did, much more. So it only make the case stronger that the government really didn't look into Hunter Biden.
So the DOJ just exposed itself in the worst way. Luft is being charged with working as an unregistered foreign agent. The FBI claims he brought in $350,000 a year to his think tank. You're supposed to be outraged by that and forget the fact that the Bidens did the exact same thing with the exact same Chinese firm, except they got $4.8 million using Joe Biden's connections to benefit Chinese communists. Imagine the DOJ in such a predicament that what they've done here, was their best option. And welcome to the wonderful world of protecting Joe Biden from culpability at all costs, a mission statement that should be enshrined on the seal of today's Department of Justice. The charges against Gal Luft are a tacit admission by the DOJ that they know the president and his family sold out our country for money. They just have no interest in prosecuting potentially treasonous corruption. But the usual clowns are still trying to spin the Gal Luft indictment as a victory. Business Insider, an economic newsletter for communists, sarcastically writing, a man who accused Hunter Biden of having nefarious ties to China is now being charged with having nefarious ties to China. Very clever. Yeah, that's true. But in a way, it actually speaks to Gal Luft's credibility. When you discover Luft and the Bidens were being paid by the exact same person, the man on the screen, a Chinese communist named Patrick Ho. They were getting paid by the same exact person. Also, it's important to realize Luft claiming that Joe Biden took money from China does not benefit Gal Luft. Notice how none of these outlets that are celebrating right now have yet stated a motive for Luft's accusation, which, important to know, he made before he was ever under investigation. That's because there is no motivation for this, other than pointing out something all the American people should know. From the indictment, it appears that Gal Luft was just a guy running a think tank foreign lobbyist operation and taking money from the Chinese. From that indictment, CC1, who's a man named Patrick Ho, we can tell you that, offered Gal Luft annual payments of $350,000 from CEFC to the think tank. In return, CC1, Ho, and Luft agreed that the think tank and CEFC would jointly host an international meeting in a major United States city on energy security issues. So basically, the Chinese wanted to borrow that think tank's credibility and have a big meeting here in the United States, and they get $350 grand. This kind of stuff is quite common in Washington. It's a dirty town. But it is far less offensive than a vice president with real power and influence taking millions to push the Chinese agenda inside of his own country. Gal Luft was a small-time lobbyist helping the Chinese, and his job put him in a position to see the man who would become the next president of the United States doing the exact same thing on a much, much grander scale. Getting greased by communists for millions to do their bidding inside of our country. And guess which one the DOJ is rushing as fast as they can to imprison. But they don't want you to figure all of this out. They just want to keep it real simple, like Jamie Raskin did today.
The most recent star witness turns out to be a fugitive from the government who is an accused and indicted arms trafficker and maker of false statements to federal agents, and that's the person they wanted everybody to rely on.
Again, to Jamie Raskin, how about all the other people accusing the same thing? Nobody brings that up. The media never asks that question because they don't want to know either. The situation fits a pattern, though, doesn't it? The Biden family made a fortune in Ukraine doing some nefarious work. Nobody cared. Trump points it out. Trump gets impeached. Biden removes documents from a SCIF decades ago. Nobody cares. Trump, as president, takes classified documents, life in prison. Biden influence peddles in China. Nobody cares. Luft points it out and has to run for his life. Fits a pattern.